That being said, the McMahons being back in charge is not exactly something I'm a big fan of, if only because we've seen it before. The more things change with WWE, the more they stay the same. This has been the case forever, dating back to the late 90s, with the McMahons being all over WWE programming. They just can't seem to stay away for long. It always is out. It's always about the McMahons, no matter what, whether it's Vince, whether it's Shane, whether it's Stephanie, whether it's Triple H, or a combination of all four, or including Linda. So including all five, which Linda was around for like a cup of coffee in the early 2000s, so let's not drag her into this. But beyond those folks, it's always about the McMahons at the end of the day. They just can't seem to stay away and can't seem to focus on anyone else but themselves at the top of the food chain of the company. If one of them's gone, usually the other one's around for the time being soon after. Until the other one comes back, and then they're all back, and then they're all gone for like a week or two, and then another one comes back, and another one, and another one. It's just a recurring, never-ending cycle. And it does nothing to add to my intrigue of Raw and SmackDown. I think if they really want to turn things around for the sinking ship that is Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown to an extent, it all changes with the creative team. It all changes with the writing of the shows, whether it's Vince approving the shows, whether it's the creative writing team having a lack of ideas. Whoever fault it is, that needs to change first. I don't know if someone needs to be fired or someone needs to be hired or something needs to be changed with the writing process of these shows. Because if nothing changes in terms of how the shows are written, then nothing is going to change in terms of how we view the show every Monday and Tuesday night. It's going to be the same shows that we've been seeing for months now. Specifically Raw. SmackDown is much more bearable than Raw. But with Raw, though, unless something changes at the top, then nothing will change. And seeing Vince come out, seeing Shane come out, seeing Stephanie come out, seeing Triple H come out to make matches every week is not exactly what I want to see. Now, Vince did say at the start of his promo on Monday's Raw, though, that we're done with the days of absentee management. We're done with the days of absentee management. And I'm like, I'd rather have absentee management than an absentee champion. Like, that was never addressed. The Brock Lesnar situation was never addressed. The fact that he's fucking Universal Champion, despite the fact that he never shows up on the show, and that he's been Universal Champion by and large since April of 2017, a whopping 2 years ago, this guy became a world champion and has really not been on the show ever since. That was never really addressed. I'm sure that will, be taken care of. Hopefully come the Rumble if Braun can beat Brock. Otherwise, why would you give Braun another shot at the championship? Even if Braun does beat Brock, I still don't care. I've talked about this before, but at least it's better than having Brock around as champion because the guy's never fucking around. So anyway, the absentee management stuff, I would honestly prefer. Like, I prefer the days of Jack Tunney from, like, the 90s and the 80s and whatnot, when we would have a commissioner that would only show up when necessary, and it was a big deal. Like, William Regal as a prime example. Yes, the guy will film probably, like, weekly segments backstage to announce matches or confront superstars, but he never really appears in front of the live crowd unless it's a big deal. Unless they save it for, like, a big happening, which I really enjoy. So yeah, with absentee management, I would rather have a GM that's not really around, that is more so heard from rather than seen, than what we are bound to be getting going forward, with the authority essentially being back in power. Now again, it's all about the people for now. Yeah, for a fucking cup of coffee before they turn heel, so it suits their narrative. Until Triple H turns heel in time for his WrestleMania matchup, then it's going to be all different, with them booking more matches that are no different than what Baron Corbin was doing before he lost power a few weeks ago at TLC on Sunday.